All right.
Oh, yeah. As always, we come on about 5 minutes early to make sure the technology's right. Get a little music going. Welcome to another installment of the Denko Gridiron Show. John Piper along with Grayson Nolet. He's off camera right now, getting our Instagram feed going. This is every Wednesday, live at noon Central on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Periscope, and now over here on Instagram as well. Also in podcast form, wherever you get your podcasts, you can find us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcast.
Here we are.
How you doing, Grayson?
We're live over here on Instagram. We've kind of changed the Instagram camera angle. It's now,
you can see my hand.
It's now more in the middle here. So,
hey, I've got a little bit of the when actually fans can still attend games. That's the last year. Well, I guess 2 seasons ago, the Cotton Bowl, OU, the Red River rivalry. I had a chance to go to that last year, so that was fun. Have you ever been to that game, Grayson?
Which game?
The Texas OU. Right, I got it right.
Oh, the Red River Showdown.
That's
no,
right.
I've never had the pleasure of going to the Red River Showdown.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. Great tradition. And
Mike is not agreeing with me. There it goes.
Hey, before we get rolling, you see the behind the dish. We also produce some baseball content podcasts, and I had the good fortune. I don't know who's tuning in. Hey, I would like to hear from you. Who's pulling for the Dodgers versus Tampa Bay? You know, I'm personally pulling for the Dodgers. There's some Texas connections there, and so I'm pulling for the Dodgers. Posting comments who you're pulling for, but did have the good fortune of having John Smoltz right there, man, Hall of Fame pitcher. Most of you know him from the Atlanta Braves, but I had a chance to interview him on the Behind the Dish podcast just about a year and a half ago. And, man, what a great – I'm going to see if I can post here in the comments. The link, and Spotify is now out there on the Facebook, the YouTube, and I think the Twitter. So check that out. Let us know what you think. You know, we're sports fans, baseball, football. And, man, what a great ambassador to the game, John Smoltz. And World Series resumes again tonight, Grayson. I know you're not a big baseball guy, but.
Yeah, I'm not a baseball hater. I'm just not a baseball fanatic. Just, I don't know. It was just never a sport that was heavily, I guess, influenced on me growing up. It was just more football, college football, high school football, NFL football was kind of just what sucked me in as a kid. And then I've slowly gotten more and more into basketball and then now hockey. So unfortunately, baseball has just kind of taken a bit of a backseat in my sports fandom. But hey, you know, honestly, when it comes to this World Series thing, I know I just said I'm not a hater, but I am a bit of an Astros hater. I was kind of glad that Houston didn't make it.
Yeah, you and a bunch of other people.
I know, and I know some people are like, hey, get over it or whatever, but you know what? I just don't believe cheaters should prosper. So I'm glad that this is the World Series that we got. Shout out to both teams that made it.
Hey, you know, when you tune in here live, you never know what you're going to get. Grayson brought us some new tracks. Got some new music going here in the background.
I'm a bit of a hip hop guy, so I got John to toss in some hip hop.
Yeah, you know, I go with about anything. I like this.
One.
I like this one.
Yeah, this one's a little jazzy, you know. Let us know in the comments where you guys are listening from today. Are you at work right now? Or
we're about a minute from the start of the show.
You got the day off. Maybe you're cruising around and listening to us just audio wise. Let us know.
We appreciate all y'all tuning in.
You guys like to listen to the show.
You know, we switched it to noon this season, and the feedback's, I think, been very positive, Grayson. You know, people can tune in on their lunch, but also more importantly, you know, when they get home from work or school, you know, they can watch the replay.
Hey, I think that last week was probably one of the most positively, I think, reviewed episodes that we've had so far this season. This is episode 9 that we're doing right here. So it's just a total honor to be able to do this every Wednesday and be able to give you guys some great content. And we just appreciate all the support and just the fact that that support is going up each and every week. is it's really great to see just on your and I's part, just to see that visual progression.
Sean McClary is multitasking at work. He says he's at work today in Frisco.
My fiance kind of does the same thing. She listens to me while she's at her job too, like kind of on the job, and thankfully she's in an environment where that's okay. So
hey, I'm gonna reset things for the podcast listeners too. We're on YouTube today, Facebook Live, Twitter, Periscope, Instagram. Let's see, hey, Instagram,
YouTube
people.
as well.
And we're going to hit the record button for the podcast. So I'll set it up right now. You are tuned in to the Denko Gridiron Show live each and every Wednesday. John Piper along with Grayson Nolette. Man, episode 9.
Yes, sir. Episode 9.
Man, time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it?
Tell me about it. And now we're in the 4th week of 5A and 6A play. So we are completely in the swing of things here now.
And if this is the first time you've stumbled across the show, this is our 4th season. We're actually doing a giveaway today.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you can hold that up there,
yep.
Grayson.
We got the Suckle
Our friends at Suckle Busters. I don't know. Did you see I did another brisket over the weekend? Did you see that?
I did see that. I was actually looking. I saw it before the show. When
Courtesy
I was
of our friends at Suckle Busters, they provide some great rubs.
Yeah, some great spice rubs here.
We are going to actually give away this tailgate package right here.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Nice.
What all's in there? Read that out.
Yeah, so we've got there's a beef rub in here, there's a chicken rub, and there's also a pork and rib rub. So you get the whole spectrum.
Yeah, it works great on chicken, beef, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
and they've got great recipes too. You go to Suckle Busters, and today we're giving away Suckle Busters. Next week we're probably going to give away a Marty B's gift card, so make sure you tune in, and there'll be ways. Actually, if you type in, I think just go ahead, both say it, type in Marty B in the comments to get registered for that next giveaway. But I think we had quite a few entries in this last one, and the winner of the Suckle Busters tailgate package,
drum roll,
is Kelly McClary.
Hey.
And if you can, I think Sean might be related there. Sean, if you could let us know how to get
Hello, this is John Piper with Peak Trade.
Sorry about that.
Wrong.
Hello.
Yeah, quit hitting buttons there,
oh, man,
young man.
I hit the wrong button.
That's a rookie mistake. He's learning, though. He's learning.
I thought it was the clap. I wanted the clap.
That's all right. That's all right. Not a problem there. Hey, we're imperfect. You know, that's when you do live shows, Grayson. But hey, if you can post in comments, Kelly McClary, if you're tuning in, or Sean, yeah, awesome. Wifey wins. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, send us a message. Just message us here on the show. Let us know. You could either we're right off the square in Denton if you want to swing by one day and pick it up, or we can mail it to you as well. But just send us a private message, and we'll get that out to Kelly McClary. And that'd be awesome if y'all like do some grilling and take a picture with your Suckle Busters and tag us in the show. That would be awesome.
But don't worry.
Oh, there she is. Kelly's in here.
We've got a new giveaway now, like you just mentioned. And it's going to be...
People do win. That's the point, right? We're live. People do win stuff.
Our next one's going to be courtesy of Marty B's. And obviously, we want to give a shout out to one of our main sponsors every show over there in Bartonville. And John, I just mentioned it to you, but my fiance and I have actually planned to have our engagement party over there now.
Yeah, we like to shop local and support, Marty B's. Let me go ahead and bring that up. Let me turn off the logo there and bring up Marty B's. Hey, since you're familiar with Marty B's, I've been there multiple times. You've eaten there recently, and obviously you're investing your time and money. Why don't you go ahead and tell everybody a little bit about Marty B's?
Yeah, Marty B's was, my fiance and I just got to go and visit there just last week for the first time, and we had a great experience. And then that was when I decided to talk to you again. I was like, hey, can you hook me up with our contact that, we've been talking to, with our sponsorship and everything. I was like, I think we want to maybe have our engagement party there. And so we've been planning that process with them, and it's honestly just been borderlining on seamless. They've answered all of our questions. They have a lot of different private areas that you can rent. There's some that are smaller if you just want, a space for 8 to 10 people, and then it can go up to a couple hundred people if you want to. So if you have any type of private event going on in the near future, want a good atmosphere, good vibes, great food, and just an awesome staff that will answer all your questions and will help you out and will put you in the best position to make your event successful. Marty B says filled in all those check
Grayson,
boxes.
I guess the $64,000 question is, will I get an invite to the party?
Hey, I know there's a lot of
people
put him
on the spot. You notice how he hem-hawed around. He didn't answer just yet, but
well,
that's okay.
I can't have everybody come. My family is so ginormous.
What he's saying is no, John, you can't come.
John.
But that's okay. I get it.
It's exclusive.
Yeah.
It's invite only.
Yeah, he's hurt my feelings, folks. But no, good stuff. And hey, I'll talk about good friends at Bud Bartley here shortly. But let's go ahead and get into the show. Let's talk a little Texas high school football, and starting with some news from last week. Big game was scheduled, man, and I was scheduled to do it on the radio along with Rick Throwkill and our team, our radio crew. Geyer versus Southlake. It was going to be national TV on ESPN2. Man, it's going to be a great atmosphere, and they had to cancel it due to, we try not to talk about it on the show, but we got to COVID. One of the players for Southlake Carroll tested positive, and so that was unfortunate. It gave Geyer, like many of the teams we talk about, a week off. Coach Rodney Webb was trying to find a replacement game, but this close to district play, he couldn't find one. So they just worked on some things, got some players healthy. And next up, they actually play tomorrow night at home, CH Collins. According to the computer rankings, 39-point favorite over the McKinney Lions.
Gosh, it would have been so much fun to have had the opportunity to watch that Geyer Southlake Carroll game last week. I had plans to watch it on ESPN, or at least be able to glimpse at it and, get that opportunity. And it would have been so much fun to see that game at Dragon Stadium on national television. But unfortunately, that's just not how things shook out. And that's just the reality of 2020. So now Geyer and Rodney Webb, they are focused on this. They've been focused on this next game against the McKinney Lions, and just treated it like a bye week to get prepared for the next matchup. McKinney sitting at 3-1 right now is not any team to brush off your shoulder. They certainly will go out there and do their best to compete with the Geyer Wildcats. But like you said there, John, Dave Campbell's obviously has them as a pretty big favorite. They're a big favorite in my I guess bet book as well, if you want to say that. I've got the Wildcats looking like that they're going to come back strong, especially because you gave them a whole week off to prepare for this game, and it's going to be at home at CH Collins. Definitely got the Wildcats in my favor in this one.
Yeah, Geyer will have one of their star offensive linemen, Gabe Blair, back. I had a chance to talk to Coach Webb this morning, and he's been nursing really a pretty rough high ankle sprain. He was going to be questionable for the Southlake game, but he is back, and his first game back all season long. Gabe Blair, quite a few Division I offers. He hasn't committed yet, I don't believe. But, man, that really shores up that offensive line. Eli Stowers really looking good as well. And B.J. Phillips in that backfield, along with a phenomenal receiving core and really strong defense. Be interesting to see how Geyer comes out on Thursday night and takes on the McKinney Lions.
Yeah, the Wildcats are certainly happy to have Gabe Blair back in the starting lineup. And I feel like a lost offensive lineman is sometimes a position that can kind of go overlooked in injury cases. But Gabe Blair is just such a dominant force on that Geyer offensive line with, like you said, John, multiple D1 offers, that it certainly is a noticeable difference, at the very least, for Eli Stowers there at the quarterback position. So he'll certainly be happy to have him back. But also want to give a quick shout out to Knox Boyd, another offensive lineman for the Wildcats. He just received an offer from UNT, the Mean Green. So yeah, good for him as well. There's a couple of D1
actually
guys on that line.
He committed to well, I don't want to say something I'm not 100% sure on, just like hitting buttons over here.
Oh my gosh. So. I'm gonna hear about this at least one or two more times.
Yeah, Knox Boyd has definitely some offers. They've got quite a few kids that are heading on to play at the next level. But, hey, next up, the Braswell Bengals. Coach Cody Moore, I've got him up on the screen, really playing some good ball. I know we got a couple Braswell fans tuned in to the show today. But they beat Northwest Eaton 44-37, kind of a tight game.
Yeah, and I know that those Braswell fans that are listening were definitely with me last week when I was saying after their big win against Richardson Pierce that people need to start putting some more respect on the Braswell Bengals up there in their first season in 6A. They have been taking on some tough teams and tough matchups, and they've had to fight for these wins. And this was another situation where the Northwest Eaton Eagles went out there and they gave the Bengals a show to fight for. And thankfully, Braswell, who's just been so resilient in these tough bouts throughout this whole year, do it again. And D. Gafford makes the play of the game with a 75-yard touchdown midway through the fourth quarter to seal the deal there. And it's just an overall a really great team effort. These guys just don't quit.
And, they were resilient, like first series of the game, Eaton with an interception, pick six, returns it for a touchdown on the third play of the game. But, then Braswell rattles off 20 straight points and what looked like a blowout in the making. But, like you said, Northwest didn't give up.
And that is
battle to the end.
I think that right there is just describes how Braswell has been through the first couple of weeks of their season is that set of plays right there. Your third play of the game, you throw a pick six, and then all of a sudden you rattle off 20 points unanswered. And that's just exactly how the Bengals have played all year long. They have not allowed mistakes to bury them. They've overcome any mistakes that they've maybe fell upon in any of their matchups, or just a team going out there and wanting to compete with them, wanting to beat them, like Richardson Pierce last week. The Mustangs played a great game against the Bengals last week, but Braswell was just the better club and fought harder, and that's exactly what happened against the Eagles this week.
And, our winner, Kelly McClary, on the Sucklebusters giveaway, her son, quarterback Tristan McClary, had quite a night as well.
Yeah, I mean, not the 7-touchdown game that he had last week against Richardson Pierce, but this guy is still the leader each and every week for Braswell. Obviously, he's number one in 6A in completions, yards, and touchdowns. If that tells you anything about how Tristan McClary has been playing this year, just had 1 touchdown through the air and 1 interception, but he also had 2 rushing touchdowns. So. And I mean, overall, Braswell just dominated on the ground, along with McClary having those 2 rushing touchdowns. They also had 2 rushers with over 100 yards. D. Gafford, like I said, he had that game-clinching 75-yard touchdown. He ends the game with over 100 yards and a touchdown. And then Jamarian Sanford, 18 carries, 152 yards and a touchdown. Those 2 are just a dynamic duo in the backfield.
And then Cam Smith and J.K. Carter, man, you were talking about it pre-show as we were preparing. I think that in the top 5 in the state of Texas.
Yeah, Cam Smith and J.K. Carter are currently ranked the number 2 and number 3 receivers, respectively, in 6A right now. Only Jay Fair over there with Rockwell Heath has more, I guess you would say, ridiculous numbers, because the 2 of them are already putting up ridiculous numbers. But Cam Smith, number 1 in the 6A in touchdowns, number 2 in yards, and then J.K. Carter, who had 6 catches for 66 yards and a touchdown in this win over the Eagles, is number 1 in 6A in catches, and he's number 3 in yards. So those 2 have just been tearing it up with McClary, and then along with Gafford and Sanford on the ground, this offense it's really on a roll right now, for sure.
And next up, they have a Thursday night game on the road at McKinney ISD Stadium, and that I still haven't had a chance to go to that stadium. Beautiful stadium. Right there off 121, Thursday night, 7:00. Be a tough match for Braswell. They're show to be a 16-point favorite, but that's just 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, McKinney Boyd may have started their season off at 1-3, but they've played some pretty tough games. So it certainly is a team that Braswell needs to make sure that they stay focused on, and they just continue to play their ball game, because it's worked for them so far in their first season in 6A. And I'd say that Richardson Pierce has probably been their toughest opponent thus far, and McKinney Boyd is a good club. But if the Bengals go out there and do what they've done the last couple of weeks, I think that they're going to be fine against the Broncos.
Now, another piece of news that I know we were texting each other back and forth, but Ryan, their COVID, they were on a COVID lockdown till 4 p.m. Friday this past week, and then they got together with Denton High School and said, hey, we can still get our game in. So they played at 2:00 up at C.H. Collins this past Saturday. And I had a chance to go up there. And I'll tell you, Denton was playing them tough early on, held Ryan 2 early possessions. Ryan went for it on 4th down, and Denton held him. I thought, man, we might see a little David and Goliath battle here. But then Ryan just did what Ryan does and really put it to him.
Yeah, Ryan had 17 tackles for loss in this game. 4 of them, along with 2 sacks, came from defensive tackle Mason Davis. And Denton High was held to just 26 total yards of offense in a 41-0 showing of where Ryan, like you said, just kind of did what the Raiders have been doing to a lot of teams this year and just dominated it, which is exactly what they were supposed to do. They were 60+ point favorites coming into this game. So honestly, a 41-0 showing's a little bit better than what the numbers on paper were saying. But, certainly you just gotta, I feel like that this is just, more credit to the Ryan Raiders than it is a knock against the Denton Broncos. Ryan's the best team in 5A, and they were supposed to go out there and show it against Denton High, and that's what they did. They took care of business.
I'm not sure what happened. Jatavian Sanders, the Texas commit, he got flagged with a personal foul early in the game and was ejected. I didn't hear any more about that, but
I was wondering why he only had 1 catch in the game.
Yeah, that's why I was, I think, early in the first quarter, after maybe about 3 series. Hey, here's an interesting stat. Hard to believe this one, Grayson, but Denton High School has lost 17 in a row to Ryan.
That is a pretty crazy stat, and it's one that you got to question a little bit. I feel like, there's got to be some sort of disconnection there. You're like, that shouldn't be happening for that long, I feel like. But then again, the Ryan Raiders have been such a perennial program for so long. I mean, again, I feel like that's just more of a compliment to them and their legacy rather than it is a knock against the Denton Broncos.
Yeah, Coco Browns had a pretty good season thus far, but and that tough Ryan defense held him to only 26 yards on 15 carries. And Dante Cobos, 14 carries, 24 yards. So, Ryan defense, a lot of folks think about their big offense led by Seth Hennigan, but their defense is just stellar.
And you got to remember, they played the way that they did, allowing just 26 yards of offense, 0 passing yards. I want to say that again, 0 passing yards against Denton High. And you had 3 turnovers, 2 fumbles, and an interception. And you did all of that without your UT Longhorns commit Jatavian Sanders, who's a starter on your defense, out there on the field. It's absolutely true.
It was good they got the game in. I think both fan bases, both teams needed the work. I know Ryan was hungry to get out there on the field. They were going to have to go 2 weeks in a row.
Just able to
they were going to have to go 2 weeks without playing.
Totally.
And it's good to get them, for the integrity of the season and deeper into the playoffs. Good for both programs to get that play going. Next up, Denton High is playing Frisco
Heritage.
Actually, back at home on Friday night at 7 o'clock. And actually, I showed Denton to be a 10-point favorite.
I was actually kind of surprised by that number. Not to say that I was in favor of Frisco Heritage. I actually am rooting for the Broncos in this one. But I just thought that maybe it would be borderlining on a even game. The Coyotes are currently 2-2, Denton High at 1-3. This is a really great matchup for Billy Miller and company. I think that you're at home Friday night. You're coming off a tough loss, but
they'll be playing with a chip on their shoulder, no doubt.
Absolutely, I think that because then the week before you got your first win of the season, so I think that they're going to be much more hungry in this showing at home, Bronco Field. Yeah, give me the Broncos in this one for sure.
And then Ryan is at Frisco's Toyota Stadium. That's another just phenomenal stadium. Yep. The Frisco has 2. They have the Star they play in and the Toyota Stadium. They play Frisco Wakeland, which is 4-0 on Thursday at 7 o'clock. Boy, pretty nice little matchup right there.
This is actually a very, I feel like, slept on matchup that people need to be paying attention to this weekend. The Frisco Wakeland Wolverines, like you said, they're undefeated as well at 4-0. And this is arguably Ryan's toughest game that they've seen all year, and they beat 6A Denton Geyer. And I think that these Wolverines might be an even tougher matchup. They have had a tough schedule so far in their first 4 games, and they have been knocking teams down on a very tough schedule. So Ryan needs to come correct in this matchup for sure.
The computer shows Ryan to be a 28-point favorite, 4-touchdown favorite.
Man, I mean, they are the best team in 5A. I just,
It's got to be with, I don't know, strength of schedule, point differentials, those types of things. But
I'm sure. I mean, Geyer's a great team, and they came out on top. And I mean, I think that they deserved a ton of credit for that win. I've said it several times, they are the best team in 5A, no doubt. But I'm just saying, they got to come correct. Frisco Wakeland has had a tough schedule so far. They're going to be ready for the Raiders for sure, and the Raiders better be ready for them.
Hey, next up, a game Denton County looks forward to each and every year.
This is going to be a fun one.
Known as the Mound Showdown. Flower Mound Marcus versus the Flower Mound Jaguars, a crosstown rivalry. I think those schools are only separated by maybe 5-6 miles, something like that. The kids grow up together. It's just an awesome event. And since Coach Basil's been at Flower Mound, he's played them tough. He's 2-2, and the games he's lost to Marcus have been very tight. I think just 3 points each time. And I had a chance to talk to some of the kids and Coach Basil this week. Of course, they're excited about it. Both Flower Mound and Marcus are coming off bye weeks. It just worked out that way. So it'll be a very interesting game. I'm going to try to make my way down there. It's on Friday night, and check that one out at Neil Wilson Stadium.
Yeah, this is definitely game of the week this week for our show. Flower Mound and Marcus both coming off bye weeks there in District 6A. And here they are. They've got a really awesome matchup going down. And I think that this is kind of, I don't know, John. I know that last year it's 34-31, just a 3-point game, but I have to say that the Marauders are just looking a lot more solid of a club this year.
Michael Castleberry's on here. He says, "Go Marauders." So he's a Marauder fan right there.
I can see why. I mean, Marcus with Garrett Nussmeyer and Kevin Atkinson, and they've just been on a tear. They're undefeated at the moment. They won 6A last year. They've won this matchup last year, and that's when the Jaguars had honestly a better team than they do this year. And that's just not a discredit to Flower Mound. It's just a fact. They lost a lot of talent from last year's club, and you still lost in this matchup against Marcus, who's just as good, maybe even better than they were last year. So this is going to be, it's always a fun matchup, crosstown rivalry. That extra emotional oomph is always there. But Garrett Nussmeyer is going to LSU for a reason, and Marcus is undefeated right now for a reason. I like the Marauders in this one. I hope it's a close and good game, though. I really do.
The Jags have had a tough time running the ball early in this season, so they're going to have to establish some type of running game. Talked to Big Nate Adams yesterday. Listen to this one: 6'6", 315-pound offensive lineman for the Jaguars. You'd think you could establish a running game behind that big fella.
Yeah, my goodness. And I also want to say that Nick Evers, the quarterback for Flower Mound, has looked solid. He's gotten better as the season's gone on. I know that they had a really tough opponent in their last matchup, and he didn't go crazy in that game, but he has looked more and more comfortable as each game has come and gone. And, you know, in a big rivalry game like this, if there's a time for Nick Evers to really put a stamp on his name on this district, I think that this is the matchup to do it. If he can show out against the Marauders, people are going to be talking about Nick Evers a little bit more.
Hey, quite a few Jag fans have kind of come out of the woodwork and they're chiming in over here.
It's a game of the week. I hope you guys are talking about it. Let us know in the comments who you're going for. Flower Mound
Delgado, Jags for the win this week. Beth Adams.
Yeah, let us know in the comments how you guys are feeling about any of these matchups that we're talking about so far. Geyer going up against the McKinney Lions.
Cassidy, I believe she's tuning in from, I believe it's Nebraska.
Braswell's going up against McKinney Boyd. And then we just mentioned Den High taking on Frisco Heritage in a really good game. Would love to hear what you guys feel about that. And then Ryan going up against an undefeated Frisco Wakeland team as well. Let us know in the comments how you guys feel about these matchups.
I'll tell you one thing that the Jags have proven is their defense is the real deal. They're holding their opponents.
Yes.
I think an average of like 14 points a game. They've held two opponents to less than 10, and then
big old
18.
Stone
So yeah, North Dakota, but close. Yeah.
And Vatney as well. You got to give credit to that. You got to always give credit to that Jaguars front line. Those two big men in the middle, Vatney and Stone Edie. You got to make sure that you have a game plan for them, because they will slow you down.
Hey, if you are tuning in late, we gave away a Sucklebusters tailgate package earlier in the show. But next week we're going to give away a Marty B's gift card, a $25 Marty B's gift card. So just type in Marty B in the comment section if you're on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Maybe do a hashtag. I think hashtag, that way we can find them easier.
Yeah,
Hashtag Marty B.
Either one. If you want to toss in a hashtag, if you want to, all you got to do is type in Marty B in the comments in some form or fashion. And make sure you go ahead and check out Marty B at martybsplace.com.
Yeah, good stuff right there. Hey, next up, Argyle Eagles. Man,
it's
just blowing and going, aren't they?
It's crazy to say this, but this Argyle Eagles team, John, I swear gets better every week. And I just don't know how that's really possible. I guess you could say the return of Tito Bice has certainly added another level of talent to that Eagles offense, but they are just cruising and bruising right now. They are number 1 4A, continue this undefeated streak that they've got. They're 7-0, 3-0 in district. Remember 4A started play a couple of weeks before 5 and 6A. But here they are rolling through Carrollton Ranchview, the Wolves this past week, 77-7. CJ Rogers completed 14 of 19 passing, 172 yards, and he was handing touchdowns like it's nothing, throwing 4 to 4 different receivers.
Like it's nothing. Big bag of nothing, man.
I love 4 touchdowns to 4 different guys. I love the fact that CJ Rogers likes to spread the ball around in that offense. And not only that, but Argyle and Todd Rogers, he was sending all the backups out there. Got to give a shout out to the backup QB Jet Copeland too. 6 for 7, 65 yards, 3 touchdowns. He threw 7 passes and 3 of them were touchdowns for the backup.
That's crazy.
So yeah, Argyle going out there, dominating. 6 different guys really got time touching the ball. Knox Scoggins leading the way for all of them. 10 carries, 170 yards and a touchdown. Tito Bice, like I mentioned earlier, 44 yards and a score. Braden Baker, 33 yards and a score. Peyton Shoemake, 45 yards and a score. So Argyle rolling early, rolling often.
Well,
for sure.
Grayson, I was a defensive guy, so I like to show a little love to the defensive side.
And you should.
And Argyle, man, forces 5 turnovers, 1 interception, 4 fumbles, allowed just 21 yards of total offense. Man, I had to take a double take at that. You do a great job with our stats here on the show, but I said only 21 yards. That's amazing. Yeah. Only 1 first down.
Well, we were just talking about the Denton Ryan defense. They only allowed 26 yards of total offense out of the Denton Broncos, and you're like, oh, well, that's got to be the best defense of the week. Well, no, Argyle's defense stepped it up by 5 extra yards. They only allowed 21 total yards of offense against their opponent, the Carrollton Ranchview Wolves. And John, they only allowed 1 first down the entire game. That is impressive for sure.
Next up, they're on the road traveling to Terrell. Terrell's 2-5. They play Friday night at 7:30. The computer shows Argyle a 44-point favorite. We're not going to argue with the computer on that one.
No. Argyle is unstoppable at the moment, and no disrespect to Terrell, but the Tigers are going to have to dig into a hat of miracles to slow down the Eagles, much less beat them, to be perfectly honest with you. Todd Rogers, and they've got their eyes all the way up to the trophy already. They're not even this is just fences in the way of this championship run that they are on. It's insane. I'll say it again. They're 7-0 and they somehow look better every single game. It's ridiculous.
Hey, I do want to take a moment to recognize another one of our sponsors, Bud Bartley Homes. You can check them out at budbartleyhomes.com. They're building in 3 neighborhoods here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. One in Copper Canyon, I think 2-acre lots. They also have home sites on Lake Grapevine, a very limited community there with only 18 lots overlooking the lake, and Highland Village. But you can check them out. They've been building for over 30 years here in North Texas. I can talk confidently about them there, Grayson. They built my home over 16 years ago, and we've been very impressed with it, and just a phenomenal home builder. budbartleyhomes.com.
Yeah, go to budbartleyhomes.com. They have their Pinterest accounts set up on there. And if you go to their Pinterest accounts, they've got tons and tons of interior and exterior photos of all different types of houses that they've worked on.
I did not know that. Yeah, they do a great job of kind of really specializing in the kitchens. Now everybody wants to spend time in their kitchens now, and
they've got great pictures of
outdoor living areas and those types of things. But
that's all the evidence you need to know that Bud Bartley Homes does.
Yeah, that
really
gets back to shopping local, whether it's Marty B's or Bud Bartley. Local business people here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Denton County specifically. And they'll take great care of you. Well, next up, Lake Dallas Falcons.
Lake Dallas against Frisco Lebanon Trail, the Trail Blazers. That's always fun to say. Lake Dallas, once again, they drop a loss 44-14 in this one. And I do have to give just a little bit of credit to the Falcons, though. I was just saying that, man, they've had a tough time on offense the last couple of weeks. They have not been able to get, little to anything going these last couple of games. But against the Trailblazers, they actually have a little bit of production on offense. Brendan Sorsby threw a beautiful 55-yard touchdown to Andre Minifield. That's the longest touchdown pass that Lake Dallas has seen all season. Trevor Moon actually got it going on the ground a little bit, 75 yards and a rushing touchdown. And like I said, Brendan Sorsby had that 155-yard score. He had 82 yards through the air. And Hunter Markham also had 55 yards receiving. So let me just say this: Lake Dallas at least improved in this matchup against Frisco Lebanon Trail. It's been a tough go so far this season for the Falcons, but they definitely
a young team. Coach Young always has his guys prepared, and I think they'll get, like we talked, they'll get better each and every week, all season long.
Look, I played for a high school team that went winless my junior year, and we only won 2 games my senior year. So I know what it's like to be on a team that has not won a single game in an entire high school football season. It's a tough environment to be in, whether you're the coach or the player. And I know that it's been a tough go for these Falcons so far. I know what that feels like, but you can't always just look at a 44-14 loss. You got to look at how did they get better from last week to this week. And that's what I'm focusing on. You had your longest touchdown pass of the season by far, 55 yards. Trevor Moon actually looked pretty good on the ground and through the air for the first time in a couple of weeks. And Brendan Sorsby actually made some things happen. So, Lake Dallas has room to improve, but at the very least, they're improving.
Next up, they play Frisco Liberty Redhawks, which they're 3-1 Friday night at 7:00.
Yeah, I think that this is actually going to be a tougher matchup for Lake Dallas this week than it is Lebanon Trail. But again, I think that that's just another opportunity for you to go out there and take some risks, make some things happen. Don't be afraid to take that shot downfield again to Andre Minifield or whoever you want to, if you're Brendan Sorsby or Trevor Moon. And I think that Michael Young should certainly be encouraging those things. Just go out there and play ball. Don't worry about what's on the scoreboard.
Lake Dallas shows to be an 18-point underdog. And, with their performance thus far this season,
the Redhawks are 3-1. They're a good club. Yeah, they're good. The Redhawks are a good club. Frisco Liberty is certainly a team that you don't want to get lazy against if you're the Falcons. But again, they improved from last week to this week. That's all I'm looking for this next game for sure.
Well, fans, if you are tuned in on the replay, make sure you share this out. Comment. We do monitor the comments all week long. For you podcast listeners, we appreciate you tuning in on your drive to and from the game or to and from work. And I find podcasts are a great way to get sports content. I call it radio on demand. Just tune in when you want to.
Yeah, you were asking me earlier. You're like, what would you say? Would you say Apple Music or Spotify or this? And I was like, hey, I've just been a Spotify user for years, and my brother has also been a Spotify user for several years, and he's actually really gotten into the podcast game over there on Spotify. And now his Spotify is just getting flooded with all different types of podcasts that he likes to tune into. And I've started to dabble in that a little bit more. And it's certainly a really easy and convenient way to listen to our show. If you're not able to do it live, that is probably the easiest instant replay value you've got for us right there is on Spotify, Apple Music, any place where you can find a podcast.
Next up, Liberty Christian. We're talking about, man, they got a really tough schedule, tough opponent each and every week. They lost last week 55-21 to Midland Christian. And another tough week.
Yeah, another tough bout for Liberty Christian. Unfortunately, they just, like you've said it before, John, this is a team that seems to be playing in the SEC of taps over there, and they just continue, like you said, 55-21 loss to Midland Christian, and now they've got Dallas, Plano, Prestonwood this upcoming week. They just have such a brutal schedule. Now, again, we were just talking about Lake Dallas. They improved a little bit from last week to this week. I could certainly say the same thing about Liberty Christian from last week to this week. They put 21 points up on the board. Ty Strickland had himself a game. 41 carries, first off, is just ridiculous for a running back, especially in the way that today's football is played. 182 yards and a touchdown. That's probably I believe his best rushing yards game as well for so far this season. But 41 carries, like what a workhorse of a game. And then Kellen Moran, 72 yards and a receiving touchdown on just 3 catches. And Daniel Greek had some rushing and some passing going, a touchdown through the air and on the ground. So the Warriors are playing tough teams every week. We know that by now, but it's just about improving and looking for improvement every week. And that's kind of what Stephen Greek has been harping on. Also, the Liberty Christian defense did have an interception as well.
Coach Greek's son, Daniel Greek, very talented player. Only 11 attempts. That's a little surprising. Only 2 carries.
Well, remember, Ty Strickland, look at that number again, 41 carries for Ty Strickland. He was the focus of the game for sure. So that's definitely going to, limit Daniel Greek a little bit. But I do feel you would think that maybe you'd want to give the Mississippi State commit a couple more touches through the air. But
yeah, 100%.
Still, I think that we got to give credit to Ty Strickland for being able to handle that load and come out with, over 180 yards and a touchdown.
And Coach Greek came to Liberty Christian from Prestonwood Christian over there in Plano, and they play Prestonwood, which Prestonwood's 1-3, kind of surprising as well.
This is Liberty Christian's best shot at a win that they've seen all season with this matchup against Prestonwood. Not just because Prestonwood is also struggling at 1-3, John, but like you said there, this is former head coach Stephen Greek, old school. Used to coach Prestonwood. Now he's here with Liberty Christian. It's some coaches like to say, I don't think about those kinds of things. They think about those things. Whether it's 1% of them that thinks about it, they do think about it. And I know that 1% can always just add a little bit more to this game to, really make your team want to go out there and get your first win of the year. They would be huge if they were able to do it against Prestonwood Christian. I know that would certainly give them a boost up after starting the year.
Yeah, Liberty Christian will be hungry. Almost a must win, I think, at this point.
I agree. I think that this is definitely their best opportunity for a win so far. Daniel Greek needs to step up. Ty Strickland needs to have another great game. And Stephen Greek needs to go in there with a solid game plan. And I think that they can come out on top for real.
Well, Grayson, a segment that the fans have really let us know they really enjoy, the Gridiron Players of the Week. What's that applause button you were looking for?
There it is, right there.
Yeah. Man, why don't you start us off? Quarterback for the Argyle Eagles.
CJ Rogers is our QB Gridiron Player of the Week over there with the Argyle Eagles. He led all starting quarterbacks this week in completion percentage and touchdowns out of the 9 area teams that we cover. 14 for 19 through the air, 172 yards, 4 passing touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and he threw them to 4 different wide receivers in a bruising 70-7 victory over Carrollton Ranchview. Haven't had the opportunity to give a shout out to CJ Rogers yet, but he is easily the best quarterback in 4A right now. Obviously has a lot of talent around him as well, but he leads that train and makes it happen over there for the Eagles. He certainly deserved Gridiron Player of the Week this week at quarterback.
Next up, you were just talking about him for the Liberty Christian Warriors, Ty Strickland. Man, what a workhorse. 41 carries, 182 yards, 1 touchdown. And for Liberty to establish a run game like that, maybe that's part of their strategy leading into Prestonwood game is, they're going to have to focus in on Ty Strickland. Might open up some things for Daniel Greek as well.
I certainly like that perspective on it. I think that Ty Strickland has maybe been a little underutilized so far this year. I mean, he's had some great games, but 41 carries is unheard of from any running back that we have seen so far this year. I don't even think we've seen a running back out of any of the teams we cover touch 30 carries, much less 41. So
yeah,
that number in itself,
amazing effort.
Yeah, that number in itself. I mean, I don't care if you lost by 50 or 70. If that's how much trust that your offense had in you for that game and you come out over 180 yards and a touchdown, total workhorse of a game for Ty Strickland. He deserved it this week. Gridiron Player of the Week at running back.
And Grayson, last but not least, one of the 1-2 punch receivers for the Braswell Bengals.
J.K. Carter for the Braswell Bengals. And This one's a little interesting because I know last week Cam Smith was our Gridiron Player of the Week at wide receiver, and that man had 199 yards and 3 touchdowns last week. So I know J.K. Carter had 6 catches for 66 yards and a score aren't as mind-boggling of numbers, but honestly, we didn't have any wide receivers with mind-boggling numbers this week. Just a lot of solid performances across the board, but I picked J.K. Carter specifically because he led the him and Cam Smith both had 6 catches, but he had a score and Cam Smith did not this week. And not only that, but J.K. Carter now with 6 catches in this game, he is leading 6A in catches with 27. And is the number 3 receiver in yards. And I don't think that he would be able to be in the top 3 right now if it weren't for this performance, especially being number 1 in catches, one of the most reliable receivers in 6A, even with a stud like Cam Smith out there on the other side of the field. Definitely wanted to give J.K. Carter a shout out this week.
Congratulations, Gridiron Players of the Week. And that's going to wrap it up for us, for John Piper, Grayson Nolat, man. Great show.
Great show. Episode 9.
We'll see you next week. Stay tuned.
Thanks for listening.
Hey, I'm Mike Ducey from Fox 4. Make sure to tune in to the Denko Gridiron Show.